All right, welcome back. We're moving on to Brightburn. I'm gonna start with Patricia.
So the thing with Brightburn, I didn't really know much about this movie. I just knew that it was like a Superman thing, but he's evil, kind of connected. I just found this story really simple.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they were setting up for another movie instead of developing his character and like the people. I guess they didn't develop the people in this movie because they all die essentially, except for the main character. And then I found like you don't really care for anybody. You don't care for the you don't care for his family. You don't care for him. So it's like, what am I really watching? Like, I don't know. But the thing that I liked about this movie is it was gory and gory enough where I like had to hide. And that's what a horror movie should be like, right? So the fact that they went there was good for a movie that people didn't really know. It was an okay movie for me.
I thought what was interesting about this movie was the concept of seeing a different take on Superman. It's not a Superman movie, nor is it a bad version of Superman, but it does take on the same elements and the same mythology that Superman takes on in his films. So it was interesting. What intrigued me about this movie, why I wanted to see it so bad, was because it was like seeing a superhero that I know to be all good and just be bad.
Like a what if story, right?
Yeah, like a what if story, like a one-off what if, like Elseworld type of story. That's what I liked about it, right? Just to get that kind of like, it's almost like a fan fiction, like we would write that like just for ourselves, you know what I mean? And then we're seeing that on screen.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about this movie was the repetitiveness. It's like of the something's happening, and then they have to go look outside, and something's happening, and then they have to, like, how many times is the parents or the father going to be like, something weird is going on, or something weird is happening, and then they would go to sleep, and then they wake up, and something weird is happening, and they go to sleep and wake up. I'm like, how many times are we going to go through this? It seemed like, for such a short movie, I think I remember saying that I felt like it was dragging on, like it felt really long.
But that, like, to that extent, it's because there was no story to it. It was so simple, and it's just like, so how would you stretch a movie with such a good concept? How can you stretch that into an hour and a half or 2 hour movie? And they didn't do a good job of that. It was like, it just seemed like you said, it's the same thing we're watching over and over again. So they had that, plus there was no character development at all. So like, I think that's where it fell flat.
I think what else kind of like annoyed me about this movie was the fact that you have that classic. And I love Elizabeth, by the way. Like, I love Elizabeth, you know, girl. But what bothered me about this movie was her character. Like, it's the classic, like, I'm trying to tell you something, and oh no, he can never be any wrong. Like, you know, this is not your son.
Yeah.
And your man is trying to tell you over and over again that there's something wrong with this kid. And it's not like she should have that connection to the point where it's just like she gave birth to this kid, so that's why she has to that's why she feels that attachment. Maybe it's because, and maybe I wouldn't know, but like maybe it's because she couldn't have kids, and this is the only thing that made her feel whole or complete as a woman who wanted to be a mother. But I just didn't understand what was her big attachment when you're seeing all the signs. Anthony, what do you have to say about that?
To that, I would say, I mean, I can't relate to other moms, but I feel like it's probably just a mother's instinct to take care of their kid, whether or not it's her biological son or not. Yeah. She probably, she did love him with all his heart, right? And so I feel like she was doing anything to protect him, whether that was her being in denial a lot of the times. I think she was just trying to see the good in him rather than the obvious bad. I think that's all it was.
Do you think that they were able to, like, for me it was annoying. Did you get that same vibe? Like, because I've seen this happen before in other movies. Yeah. And I felt like it's done better in other movies. Did you get that vibe?
Not so much. I felt like all her reasoning was good anyway. Like, I don't think it was her saying that he's not evil. I think it was just her saying that maybe we can keep him good. Like, we have all this time. Okay. I think it was her trying to stop him from going even worse, and to try to just keep him sane and try to keep him, you know, as human as possible. So I think that was just her trying to
Well, the
dig out
thing
the
with
best from
that, I feel like this is where I don't agree with you. Why you think, oh, why is she like that? It's because it's her son no matter what. So it's like, no matter if she gave birth to him, she could have adopted him. She raised him from when he was a baby. So like in her eyes, even though all of this stuff is happening, this is my son.
But but the thing is that it's more intense than other films that we've seen. Like, he's doing some dangerous, weird, like horrific things, and she's all like,
but what I see from that though is because when you look at him as a kid, when he's not being evil, you see innocence in him. You look in his eyes, and you look at how he interacts with other people. He's an innocent kid, right? It's only when he becomes this evil guy that he really becomes, you know, a danger to society. When he's just being a kid, you care for him. You know what I mean? So I feel like they did a good job with making the kid, the kid that the mom saw him. They did a good job of making us see that kid as well. Yeah. Okay. And so I don't know. I don't fault Elizabeth's character for kind of being naive in that sense.
Where she stands, like she represents a lot of people where you feel hope for a character. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. So like you hope at the end of the movie, she's gonna do something where his character changes and he's gonna be good. Right, but that's what was different about this movie is that you didn't get your happy ending.
But see, and you know what's crazy about that? Because again, we're all for on this panel at Cinema Circle. We're all for the non-traditional endings. We love when they take us and they shake us up and whatever, and they just leave us there. They did that in this movie, but it didn't for me. It's just like, yo, y'all threw me up there and you shook me up and whatever. Yeah. But for some reason, I'm just not feeling the wind like I should, like I have when they've done that in other movies. Not saying that it was bad, because I really enjoyed this movie, right? The scary parts of this movie were scary. It was very entertaining.
For me, I actually thought it was a decent movie overall, though. I just, by the time it ended, I felt like, oh, that's it. Like, I felt like it was building up to something that was going to be an amazing third act, right? And the third act kind of just fell short to me. Like, I felt like we were gonna get a more grand ending. Other than that, though, I think like the movie was still pretty good. Like, like I was hooked. I was watching the entire time. I wanted to know what was gonna happen next. So I think it was good. I just wish the ending was a lot stronger. Yeah. Because I think it's an amazing concept. Not only the fact that they're kind of reimagining a good character being a bad character, but specifically that it was Superman's origin. Because if there was Batman, if this was Iron Man, yeah, that would have been cool. But the fact that it's Superman, somebody who represents hope and somebody who is just pure in entirety based on his character, it's nice to see the dark side of a character like that. So I'm just disappointed that we didn't get the ending that I feel like this movie had the potential of having.
I think it's because they're setting up for another movie. That's why the ending was the way it was.
I noticed too, though, that the crew was all, like, they were all family. Did you notice that? When the credits were rolling, they all had the same... Who's the director again?
I don't know.
Whoever the director was, they, like, the producers, everyone, they were all like related or something. Oh yeah, I didn't notice that. So it came across as like an independent film almost.
Yeah, definitely a nice little movie. I did enjoy it though. Let's just move on to the verdict. Patricia.
I give it a 6.
Anthony.
I gave it a 7.
I'm going to give... I'll give it a 6.5. That's where I'm going to land right there. 6.5. I did enjoy the movie. Don't know if I would watch it again, but I would recommend it. All right. The next movie that we are talking about is Ma. Let's check it out.